So, hey, I'm Branden Henner with Extreme Networks, and I wanted to thank you, Cassie, for inviting me on today. This is a really cool program that y'all are doing, and just thank you. Really excited to present some things that Extreme has going on, some things that I think people are really going to like, because we're going to talk about some free stuff and how you can take advantage of that. And so, Cassie, thank you so much.
Hey, I'm happy to have you. We're really happy to have you. Thank you for starting off this whole series and getting us going. So
yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. Well, so let's get right into it. So what I'm going to show, I'm going to start out with our Extreme CloudIQ platform, which is our cloud-based network management solution. It's very holistic, and including our wireless products and switching, and it provides a really easy way for our customers to dive into their network, get some really rich data and insights into what's happening. But really, I want to focus on the free version of this product, which is called Extreme CloudIQ Connect. And the reason I want to focus on this is because not a lot of people know we have it, right? And we often run into challenges where, especially in like K-12 markets, which I serve a lot, where they have really constrained budgets. They might be able to afford to buy some quality access points like Extreme offers, but they maybe can't afford the reoccurring cost of a subscription platform. We do have some really rich tools in our subscription-based product that I will show as well. But for those customers who just, maybe they're just playing around with it at their house, or maybe they just have a really small environment and they don't need all the bells and whistles. They just need something to get them going, or they just want to try it out. Why not, right? Why not check out this free version from Extreme called Extreme CloudIQ Connect? And so what I'm going to do is share my screen and just kind of show you the process of how we get set up and get things going. So bear with me here.
I think that you have, yep, there you go.
Yes. Okay. So you'll go to extremecloudiq.com. That's no dubs. You don't have to do the /login. Just extremecloudiq.com will get you there. And you don't have an account, register here, right? And so you'll just fill out this form. You'll select whether you want 90 days of data retention or unlimited. There's no cost difference if you choose the paid service. There's no cost difference between these two. So if you want unlimited data retention for the entire life of your paid service, you can choose unlimited. It's completely up to you. And you'll click register. The next step, which I'm not going to fill this out completely, or I'll just I'll make up some stuff. I'll put my wife's name, and I did already create an account for her. But no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this from a bunch of false data. But anyways, the next step after you fill this out is, of course, verifying your account with your via your email address, and it's going to ask you 3 questions. It's going to ask you, do you have an entitlement ID? In other words, you have already paid for the subscription service. Do you want to try a trial of the paid service, or do you want to use Extreme CloudIQ Connect, which is the free service? So you'll just select the free service. And that part I'm not going to show because I've already created an account just to save us some time using my wife's email address. I'm sure she won't mind. And I'm going to log in. If I don't typo the password. Hey, I didn't typo the password. Isn't that awesome? So here we are. We're in Extreme CloudIQ Connect, and you'll notice little upgrade buttons all around. So there, obviously, it's the exact same platform as our paid service, and we just hide a few features when you drill down into some of these. Some of the more advanced capabilities of the platform are a part of the paid service. And so so you can do quite a lot. And I'm just going to kind of run through this and show you some of the things that you can do. It's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is show you, I've got an access point right here, okay? It's got a white light. I mean, it's ready to go. If it has the white light here, it means it was able to reach out to the cloud and get cloud access. It might not be provisioned yet, but it has internet access, which is a good sign, right? If you don't have that white light, it means that the AP might not have internet service, and you got to troubleshoot a wired problem of some kind to get it on. So if I go to manage and devices, which is where I already am, you will see a device onboarding view. I can click this plus here and start adding devices, and I'll just use the quick add, keep it simple. We can add simulated devices to just trial a simulated environment. We would have an Extreme or AeroHive access point to add here. We have some other options for our switching portfolio as well if you want to add those devices. You can import a CSV if you had a large spreadsheet. Let's say you bought 100 APs and you don't want to type all those serial numbers out manually. You can import a spreadsheet with all those. But in this case, I'm just going to add the access point serial number. So because this process of onboarding might take a few minutes, so I'm going to show a few other things while I do this. So I'm just going to look at the back of the AP and punch in the serial number. And while I do that, Cassie, do you have any questions?
I'm just kind of floored at how easy it was to get a login, get started, and just start to check everything out. Like, I mean, this would be a great way for people to just go in and kind of feel out the system a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, and there's no reason.
I need to do this. I need to get a log. I thought I had one, but I don't think I need to do this for myself.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to, right? It's free. Play around. And if you want to try out some APs, Cassie, I've got one you can try, and I'm willing to help out customers get their hands on one to try as well. We also a shameless plug for our Wireless Wednesday webinar event. You know, depending on what market you're in, there's some limitations on what we can do with K-12, but depending on what market you're in, you can get a free access point by attending that webinar, and you can play with this on at no cost. So
I can attest to that. I've got a few people out there who have used the Wireless Wednesday event and gotten free APs and loved them. So
yeah, it's cool stuff. So anyways, let's go through this. You would add a location. I haven't built any yet. This is a fresh instance, so we'll talk about that in a second. And then you would add a policy. I have built one, but I'm not going to add it right now. Just kind of go through the process. So one of the things that's kind of neat, just a neat little thing. Look at the serial number. So this particular AP model is an AP 250. So the first four are the AP model. We have like an 1130. Right, so that's why it's 4 characters, 0250, because there's like an AP 1130, so it would say 1130 for the first 4. And here is the manufacture date, and then a batch number. So it's kind of cool the way we built the serial numbers to be able to tell when it was made and what batch. You know, nobody's immune to manufacturer issues. There are occasions, and I don't care who the manufacturer is, everybody has this sometimes where there's just something went wrong in the manufacturing process. Humans build these, right? So you know, things can happen. So it's really nice to be able to look at that and say, okay, you know, there was a batch that had a problem. We need to see what's going on there. But yeah, it's just a cool way to identify the type of device just based on the serial number. Anyways, I'll just click add device here. And we'll just wait for this thing to provision, right? It's red because it hasn't been fully onboarded yet. There's no policy assigned, so the config audit is green, right? But once we start assigning policies and writing configs, we'll see this change color, and I'll just kind of talk you through that process. So we're just going to wait for this guy to onboard. While we're waiting, I'm just going to take you through a few things, right? So let's get right into configuring something, right? So network policies is the meat of setting up your SSID, right? So you can use the express policy setup, which is a very simple set up a new SSID process, which is pretty cool. Or you can click add network policy and do it the long form way. So what are we creating? A policy for both APs and switches, because again, we can manage switches in here, right? and we'll just call it, I don't know, IK Wi-Fi. Okay. We can click save and go to the next one and start adding our SSIDs, guest network or any other, right? So guest network has some prepackaged rules for, a captive portal and things like that, right? So let's just create another, right? And we'll call it, let's say, I don't know, student Wi-Fi dash IK. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
And if I click broadcast name, notice it automatically filled that in.
Yep.
And do I want pre-shared key? You'll notice I can't click the private pre-shared key because that is a paid feature, but that's pretty cool. Basically what that does is just like a pre-shared key at your home where you just type in a password and you get on, a
Right.
private pre-shared key allows you to actually create a unique password for each user. So that they can onboard all their devices with just their password, because the inherent problem with the pre-shared key, right, is that you create it and it gets out and everybody has it, right? And then people you don't want getting on get on. You don't know who they are because they just use a standard password. With a private pre-shared key, it has that simplicity of just a password, but it's a unique password for that user, so that we can have that accountability and keep that encryption intact, right?
So each person that gets that key, you know exactly who is on that key, and
Yep.
you can trace and log and probably also set up some, stipulations for that user as well.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's part of the user access profiles, right?
Awesome.
So you come in here, you set it up, you put your password in, and we'll just type in some stuff here. Super fancy password that I got, right?
Do not use that one in real life, folks. Okay,
Yeah.
if y'all are watching, don't use that.
It's not the most creative one. Yeah. Do I
All right,
want to
it'll work for
enable?
today. Yeah.
Yeah. Do I want to enable a captive portal, right? Do I want to provide a unique VLAN number for this particular wireless network? Do I want to turn on some firewall rules? Like, let's say I want to come in here and say Netflix. Okay. You can go to the Netflix site, but you can't stream any video. All right. I'm going to add that in there. And then I'm going to say
That's rough,
deny.
man. You're being shady.
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be horrible, right? The kid gets on there and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna watch me some trolls or whatever, right? And they click on it, it's nope, no
Yep.
streaming. So anyways, I'm gonna save that firewall rule. I'm gonna want to lock them down. And so yeah, we can apply quality of service and whatever date time limit, right? So we don't we want to restrict their access to certain times a day and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to save this, and because it's the default object, I have to create a new one. I can't modify the default one, right? So I'm just going to create a new one and call it restrict Netflix, right? And so by the way, I am not an expert at this, but you can see how intuitive this is to just build this out, right? I definitely.
I'm a salesperson, and I could probably do this.
I definitely have been in this interface before, but it's definitely not my specialty. And just as you can see, I try to save stuff, and it's like, you forgot to do something, Brandon. Good job. So.
It's the story of my life.
We might call this user profile like student or something like that. So we would create a unique one for faculty, right? So there it is. Student profile is now applied to this SSID, right? Save. All right, we've got our wireless network created. We might create AP templates. This is a way that we kind of customize the radio properties for the access point. If you want to get granular and tune your access point, we might do that. I'm not going to get that deep into this, but you can kind of see, again, the upgrade buttons for some of the more advanced settings, but how you can kind of set some of these more granular details up. And so I'm just going to leave this all defaults for now. And it upload. Yeah. And so apply network policy to selected devices. I don't have any devices yet. So we're gonna go take a step back to the devices section and apply this AP as policy. Hey, look, it's green.
Yay!
Right? That's good news.
Green means go.
So I'm gonna check this box and hit actions and assign a network policy. Again, when you initially set it up, when you did the quick add, you could have done it here, right? But I just wanted to show two different ways.
Right.
So I'm going to go back here, assign a policy, and okay, and boom. Now it says, uh-oh, there's a difference in our config, right? Something's changed. So I need to deploy this out, right? I could have done that back there, right? If I go back here and deploy policy, now we see that access point there where we did before, and I could have uploaded that new SSID we just created, or I can go back here and do it from here. Just a personal preference thing, whatever you feel comfortable with. So this brings up an interesting point about this architecture I'm going to talk about while we do this. So I'm going to update device. Anytime we're starting fresh from, like, brand new, fresh from the start, I like to do a complete config upgrade. Most cases, I would say 90% of the time, you can do a delta. The difference is this is going to reboot the AP, and that's going to be a hard down, right? This one will just make minor config changes, right? So most of the time we'll do a delta, but anyways. And we might want to upgrade the firmware to the latest version, right? We might not. Completely up to us, right? And we're going to push that out. Now, while it's doing this, I just want to talk about the architecture of the solution. So the AP, it has a full-blown operating system, okay? It is not dependent on the cloud, right? If you lose internet access, right, this solution's still going to work, right? We're just writing the config down to the access point. That's all we're doing, right? And I'll show you, you can CLI into this AP and look at that config.
So you can manage on the hardware, or you can manage from the cloud. It really is up to you. Sometimes it's easier if you've got, multiple APs to deploy, you can send this down this way. But if there's an issue or you have internet down, you can run over and check out one of those APs and open her up.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. Love it. That's awesome.
It's pretty nice. So we'll let that right down. I'm going to show you down here a few things while we're waiting on that. So you can kind of see, some of the more advanced features here, and this data is grayed out, but you can see it has internet access. One of the things that's kind of cool, and I'll show you in the paid version, is there's an SSH tool where we can SSH in the access point, and we can get granular into the config of the AP itself here as well. And Cassie, if you could mute while you're not talking, I'm getting feedback.
I'm so sorry. Here,
no, it's
be
okay.
quiet.
Much better. So anyways, it's a pretty cool tool, being able to go in here and do granular configuration right here. But anyways, let's just go back and see. Yep, it's still rebooting. I've got an orange light you can see there, so it's still doing its thing. We'll let it rock and roll in the meantime. I'm gonna just kind of go here and kind of talk about the platform, right? So you can see some of the data here. I mean, just the massive amounts of data and customers we're collecting in the cloud means we're able to see so much. And this is where the paid version of Extreme CloudIQ with the subscription really comes in handy, because we can take some of this rich data that we're seeing all around the world and take action in your particular environment. An example I like to use is, let's say The iPhone 12 is about to come out. I think you can pre-order it today as we're recording this on October 16th. What if the first customers to get this are in Asia, and we notice that the way Apple built that particular hardware, it requires certain features to be enabled or disabled on your wireless network. Wouldn't it be great if we could alert you to recommend those changes before those iPhone 12 show up in your environment? Right, that way you're having that true proactive wireless network, and that's the kind of data that the machine learning and artificial intelligence built into the platform is going to deliver. A few other things I want to show off, right, is we can create maps, right? So we can create floor plans and whatnot, right? So I'm going to fill this out and hit get started. Cool. And you can see it drops the pin on the location. Let's upload a floor plan if we have one, or draw one, right? And so, yeah, not quite. I probably should have typed out Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, right, Cassie? Because IK is actually right about here somewhere.
Yeah, we're somewhere in there. We're close. We're right by the Capitol. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's what happens. I mean, it's not.
There we go. All right. So anyways, you can build your floor plan, right? And so I can drill down into floor one and draw. Okay. Right. Just kind of whatever. Build that out, right, the way we want it to look, and then there we go. So it provides you prompts and kind of how to build that out. So anyways, you can kind of build this out to make it look however you want. Of course, in most cases, we would upload our floor plan, drop our APs on the map, and build out a nice little heat map drawing. So that's kind of handy, right, to be able to do that in this tool. And then when we go back here to our devices, we would go in here and assign it a location. You can see that right there. And yeah, it's saying, hey, you haven't done everything you need to do yet. So anyways,
I've seen this demo quite a few times, and every time it's still pretty exciting to see how simple yet intricate that this process is. I don't know. I just wanted to say I appreciate it. So.
Well, thank you. So anyways, I'm not going to dive into this too much more. Just wanted to really quick show off this free platform because so many people don't realize that we have it. I mean, it's really cool. When you talk about, air defense, A3, some of the more advanced features that we can bring into this, it becomes even more powerful. And so, please reach out to Cassie or myself, and so we can help you and show you how how this works, right? How it's really powerful and really useful. And if you have that tight budget where you just can't afford that reoccurring cost, we have a free solution for you that actually works really well and is really feature rich. So thank you everyone for your time today, and thank you, Cassie, for allowing me to do this.
This was great. Thank you. I'm actually probably going to go and get myself a login so that I can play around with this, because it really is super simple. Like it may not be as simple for me, but it looks really simple the way that you do it. So it would be nice to be able to have that capability to, show people on the fly how simple it is to log in and get some of these things configured. And it's super powerful. So
yeah. Well, and it's backed by, one of Extreme's, shining jewels, in my opinion, is the quality of our support. Some of the best technical support in the industry, and it shows when you look at some of the programs like Gartner peer reviews and things like that. We always get far higher marks than our competitors because we have 100% in-source technical support, and it's really great, really high quality stuff. So if you wanted to invest a little bit and get that paid version, it can be very affordable, and it provides not only this really cool cool solution and all its bells and whistles, but also some really great technical support from the Extreme team.
They can totally get their feet wet with this free version. And then once they realize how powerful that is and start to see some of the other options that are out there, I mean, then you can start to add in the paid version. So
yeah,
just a great way to get started.
It is. Thank you, Cassie. I appreciate
All
the
right.
time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.